last Friday, the Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, stated that Australia is under a series of cyber attacks. Their political institutions, their education institutions, and their critical infrastructure has been attacked by a state actor. Prime Minister clearly stated that this attack has been conducted by a state actor. But however, he did not mention who is the state actor that is responsible for this. However, the Australian media and some of the other foreign media is directly pointing their fingers towards China, that China is responsible for this. So if you look back at this cyber attack, this cyber incident, according to what the Prime Minister stated, that he mentioned that this is something not new for Australia. Yes, firstly, the Australian government institutions has been attacked by an aggressor in the cyber domain in the month of February 2019. That is few months before their general elections that was happened in 2019 month of May. And also the officers of their political parties has also been attacked at that time. The hackers have stolen the policy documents of Liberal Party, National Party and Labour Party. After that, the Australian University, which is ANU, Australian National University, has also been hacked. There was a certain espionage campaign to collect the data of the students of Australian National University, especially their names, addresses, and of course their contact details has been stolen by through a cyber attack. So this is what actually happening in Australia, and what happened recently is an extension of that. So it is not something new. So next, we can focus on why this Australian media as well as international media pointing their finger towards China, saying that China is responsible for this attack. Of course, as we know, Australia is a country which shares a political system, a cultural system which looks like pro-Western. Previously, the previous Prime Minister of Australia, Malcolm Turnbull, stated that Australia is the best friend of USA in this region. And it is because of the US global leadership that the peace and stability has been maintained in this South Pacific region. Otherwise, if you look at it in a certain perspective, Australia is somewhat dependent on China considering their economy. China is the main exporter of Australia. So Australia generates so much of money with the trade, with the bilateral trade between Chinese. And therefore, the political analysis in Australia says that China is expecting somewhat a shift of foreign policy, shift of Australia's foreign policy from Washington of USA towards Beijing of China. So that is why China is conducting such kind of cyber operations against Australia. But however, Prime Minister did not mention this in public media, because if the Prime Minister mentioned it, it will be official. So it is not that kind of diplomatic. And of course, it is hard to identify the aggressor in the cyber domain. It is different comparing with the traditional warfare. Cyber warfare is something unique. So at this point of time, I would like to mention that we are in a new era of cyber warfare. Cyber technology has been used by various nation states all around the world to interact between each other and of course obtain or gain their national interest. Australia is not the only one country who has been affected by these cyber incidents. There are many cyber attacks happened in the last 10 years. For instance, the Stuxnet attack conducted against the nuclear enrichment power plant in Iran, and of course the cyber attack against Sony Corporation, and there were cyber attacks against Estonia, and of course the presidential election campaign of USA in 2016. So likewise, this has been the most modern mode to do interactions among other nation states. Now if you look at the cyber attack that was happened against Iran to contain their nuclear capabilities. As you know, Israel is the most powerful state in Middle East at this point of time, considering the military and security. So political analysis says that this is some kind of a attack conducted by USA in combination with Israel to contain the nuclear capabilities of Iran. And of course there are things like propaganda campaigns which can actually change the ideology of the people. So cyber attacks are capable of destroying or changing the ideology of a public, and of course it is capable at the same time to destroy physical infrastructure. So we have seen cyber attacks against nuclear power plants and of course electric power grids. So this is the most new phenomena in international politics. According to famous professor of Harvard University, Professor Joseph Nye, he says that cyber power is the latest introduction to international politics with the conventional soft power and hard power. And coming back to Australia, we can expect these kind of attacks in the future, although the government says that okay, we are preparing as a country to counter these types of attacks. We are redeveloping our network systems to safeguard from these type of attacks. So this is the most modern system of using power against other nation states to obtain the preferred outcome by the aggressive nation state. So as in the future, we might see more and more interactions happening on the cyber domain, because the traditional weaponry, especially the nuclear weaponry, will not be in use in the future. It will be a virtual war through cyber domain. So we can see what will happen in the future. So it is better for all of us to have some kind of a knowledge about these cyber activities and safeguard our IT infrastructure. Thank you.